You know, when you think of Civic Leadership Institute, there's just really one name that comes to mind. Joshua P. Darden, Jr.
Josh Darden.
Josh Darden.
Josh Darden.
Josh Darden.
Josh Darden.
Well, Josh was there at the beginning. So was attorney Toy Savage and former Norfolk Mayor Joe Leaf. They had all noticed that they were having trouble getting a new generation to step up and become trustees of Hampton Roads. So they developed just enough of a program to get things started.
So with that, we struck off and struggled. It was a couple of years before we got a understanding of how this thing had to happen. Kathy and I remember the days when we really weren't sure we were going to be here. It was sort of you held the checks in the drawer until you could cover them. But we got through that, and we had Kay Kemper was a big factor in that success in keeping us going.
We had 2 one-day classes in '96, and they were so successful we took off '97 to retool, and then came back with a class of '98, which then started the debate, which has yet to be settled, in my opinion, of which is the best class. 96, 1, 2, 98, 99, 2000, or...
The class of 2001.
Oh, no.
Without a doubt. Let me tell you about some of the relationships I had. Henry Light. Henry and I served on the board of Norfolk State and WHRO. In fact, Henry and I co-chaired the search for the WHRO CEO that brought us Bert Smith, another great civic leader. It was just a marvelous experience, and fortunately, I got a chance to serve as chair of the board and then turn it over to you. Remember, the class of 2001.
2004?
The very best class ever.
I think it's 2004 is the best class ever. And I was just so thrilled with Civic. When I moved here in 2001, I just didn't feel like I knew anybody on either side of the water. I was living in Norfolk, but I was working on the peninsula, and I just didn't feel like I fit anywhere. And it was really Civic that helped me fit everywhere.
I'm Paul Robinson. I was the president of the board for Southampton Roads Habitat for Humanity back in 2006. I was also in the civic class of 2003, which is widely acknowledged, as you know, to have been the best class ever. Back in 2006 with Habitat, we were starting to do the Blitz build, where we build a large group of houses all in 1 week. It's an enormous endeavor. I brought Chip Slavin from my class onto the board, and he got involved with the Blitz build and actually took it over and ran it. And he brought together the greatest group of people to build these houses in Portsmouth. 2 years later, he put together the biggest Blitz build in the country, building 16 homes in Suffolk in 5 days. In the interim, he brought on some Civic alumni onto the board, which strengthened the board incredibly.
Civic's had a tremendous impact in the community, but it's also been the genesis for some extraordinary friendships.
I'd never met Ann. I grew up in Newport News. She grew up in Seaford, and we never knew each other. Old line families on the peninsula, in the business community, and we never knew each other. How we missed each other, I don't know.
I don't know either, but I am so glad we met. One of my dearest, closest friends came to me through Civic.
And even these 2 best friends have a hard time deciding which class was the best class ever.
I think definitely 2002, because that's the class we were in and that's the class we met.
Well, this is true, but 2003 was a great class, and we were able to mold that class in our image because we were co-chairs.
Hi, I'm Tom Steffens, and I'm a member of the class of 2005, which besides being the best class ever, is the most powerful volleyball team in all of Civicdom.
Tom Steffens gave a guest presentation on anti-terrorism, and it was pretty clear we needed him in the next class. In fact, he's the only class member we've ever had who was introduced as a snake-eating Navy SEAL. I
met Thaler McCormick, who was this bleeding heart liberal social worker that was dealing with homeless people.
Tom and I didn't have a whole lot in common in class, and I thought he was kind of an uptight, military guy.
Frankly, my comments were even on those days where, well, you know, they should pull themselves up by their bootstraps and get on with it. After the Katrina experience, I realized that something was different, and I came back with my hat in my hand and said, Taylor, tell me more about this problem. Then I met the kids. That ends it. Then now you're hooked forever. So I was walking out the door. She says, well, Tom, now that you have your homelessness block checked, what are you going to do about it?
When he left that day, he had told me he was volunteering at the Red Cross, and I had said, well, hey, if you are done with the work you're doing with Red Cross and you have some spare time, we could really use you to shoot hoops with the kids at the shelter. And that is what hooked Tom Steffens.
Go! Come on! There's those rebounders. Oh, sure, and those famous last words, yeah, we just want you to shoot hoops with the kids. Right. But I told Thaler very clearly that day that I was not going to be a member of her board. I mean, I'll come and play basketball with the kids.
And what are you today?
And today I'm the president of the board of directors of 4Kids. And I'm loving every minute of it.
I don't think anybody got a bigger bang for the county's buck than Eric Williams, who came to Civic during his first year as York County School Superintendent. First, Eric leveraged his civic relationships into an informal advisory group made up of several of his classmates.
I also was able to connect up another one of my classmates, Shay Henderson, with one of the high school principals in our school division. And this principal was looking for someone to do workshops relating to school climate, relationships, and also diversity matters. And so Shay's been working with this principal, her students, and staff during this school year. Another connection I made was with Carol Simpson, provost of ODU University. And ODU has a China initiative, and we offer Chinese foreign language instruction within our division. So we've been able to work together and get some ideas from learning about each other's work.
Hello, I'm Greta Harrison, and I know the class of 2008 is the best civic class ever. Through the magic of civic, when I met with my small group and we had to do a partnership and do some kind of project, I thought about First Book, I mentioned it to them, and all the team said yes right away. And I was so grateful for that. The reason my class is the best class ever is because when they jumped on board, I said, you know guys, this is not just a one-shot thing. We're going to start something that's going to continue. It's going to outlive us. We're starting something for the area. And we want this to be a regional project, which is part of Civic's inspiration. And they all said, yes, we're not in here just until we graduate. We're going to be in this for the long haul. So because of that, I have a large group from my civic class who weren't even in my small group. Captain Pat Trapp came up to me and volunteered to work with us. He was not part of our group, but he said, I know about First Book, I want to help, and he has been an instrumental part of our getting off the ground.
Greta is a force to be reckoned with, and you know, it was just so difficult to even say no, but there was nothing to say no to. When given the opportunity to participate in a program like First Book, there's really no question about it. There's really no time that you need to make a decision. When you have an opportunity to change lives, to share with our youth today the magic of getting something they can open, they can turn to, they can look at, they can smell the pages of the book. It's just something that you selfishly look forward to doing on a daily basis.
It's not just in boards where Civic is making its mark. This was a big year for Civic in the General Assembly. In fact, 2 of the freshmen in the House of Delegates were Civic graduates who've become colleagues, friends, and effective legislators. Ron Villanueva was in the class of 2001. A year later, he became the youngest and the first Filipino elected to Virginia Beach City Council. Coincidence? I leave you to decide. In 2009, Ron ran for the 21st House seat representing Virginia Beach, and he won by only 16 votes.
I'm sure all 16 of those votes were from Civic members, and here I am today.
Ron's freshman colleague, Matthew James, had never run for any office before.
So we jumped into the race with the least amount of political experience, with the least amount of money, and lo and behold, we won a primary, and then we won by a little bit more than 16 votes in the 80th district. I'm just teasing, this is my friend.
Well, definitely Civic gives you street cred, right? I mean, it gives you, if you're running for office, you need something that makes you well-rounded, and Civic certainly doesn't. in order to make good policy, you have to have friends on the other side of the aisle, and Matthew James is definitely one of those friends.
It's a good news, bad news when you get elected to the General Assembly. You're honored to have one vote, but the reality of it is you're going to need 50 people to agree with you. And while I'm a Democrat, I realize that I'm going to need some good friends from Ron's side of the aisle to help get legislation and vice versa. When I went through with the class of 2006, I really didn't have any idea that I would run for elected office, but I did leave with a commitment to change and make the Hampton Roads region a stronger region.
At the heart of just about everything Civic does is the power of relationships, regional relationships, for regional results. And that's as true today as it was in the beginning.
I think the class of 2010 is the best class ever. And I can't thank Josh Darden enough for having the vision to put together a program like this. I think for new leaders coming into corporate positions or any position, it is a great way to enhance what you do at work and in the community.
If there's a single thing that I think comes out of this, aside from getting to know a lot of people you ought to know, it's that all of a sudden you have 40-some people who come out empowered and knowledgeable and interested in the community and really feeling like, gee, there are a lot of good people here who share my views, and I think if we work together, we can make a difference.
So what do you think is the best civic class?
Kathy, you just can't get me into that debate. They've been so good, all of them, for so long that I would not be in a position to make that judgment.
All right, don't do it. I want another. I want someone else. Give me someone else, please.
As you know, was widely acknowledged to be the best class ever. I was president of Habit.
What do you mean a member of whatever? Are you interviewing us? Is that what's happening?
I'm a pepper, he's a pepper. You like a pepper too?
See, now you guys already jinxed me.
It's like the naughty little girl with the naughty little curl.
I'm sorry.
I wanted to go.
Hey.
I'll sit in her lap. We've done it before.
That's the creative process.
Right, that's scary, right? Tell Thaler again what's going to happen with this.
I think this lipstick is spectacular. Are we finished with this video yet?
Turn that thing off.
That's